Hey YouTube, Moose Cow here. I've got a little update on my game with Rick and how it went so far. Rick and I did our first in-person game since the COVID lockdown had begun. We felt confident enough to have an in-person game, at least for one day, and we might continue this via our normal phone methods. But just to give you a little overview of how our game went, or has gone so far, we played 6 rounds. It's the top of the 7th round. And again, we are playing with a couple of house rules. Most importantly, the addition of Republican Spain. We did a little Spanish Civil War that we kind of came up with. The Republicans won, so the Soviets got a little comrade in Western Europe out of it. And then we also added the Vichy French, who have dwindled to this. And we've been playing with the Dutch, who have been eliminated along with their allies in the Indonesian islands, the Dutch East Indies. We got one Dutchman left in the United Kingdom right there. Sorry, he's blocked by the planes, but he's there. Anyway, so kind of to go over it. Overall, a very successful playtest of our mods, we both feel. Rick was very nervous with how he now had two Western fronts, a Western front and an Eastern front with Germany once he had to declare war on Russia. But overall, because I rolled terribly for most of the game yesterday, we also played from, as a general idea of how long this took to play, we played from about noon to about 11 p.m. and with about a 1-hour lunch break with pizza. But anyway, so yeah, recap. Overall, even though he was very worried about that because of the units that were drained from the Spanish Civil War, ultimately it worked out in his favor because, again, I had terrible die rolls. So what he ended up doing, other than the additions I mentioned, oh yeah, and we played with Argentina and Chile being Pro-Axis, but they haven't even been touched, so no problem there. Yeah, basically as a recap, because I had terrible die rolls with a lot of the battles, there were a few battles where I rolled well, but there were numerous battles where I had the overwhelming odds, but on the first round of combat I made no hits, and it was just bad. China not looking so hot here, being surrounded by the Japanese. Russia, last turn, declared war on Japan and invaded Manchuria, making Mongolia neutral, but allowing American fighters to land there after taking out a transport there. The Germans have taken Leningrad and have held it for numerous turns. Right away, he built a minor complex in Romania, and he's just upgraded it to a major complex. And then, yeah, again, he did a J1 attack. I'm bouncing all over the place, I realize, but yeah, he did a J1 attack. And then with Europe, Italy did a I2 attack on Romania, so that Germany got to go in there as well and attack Russia on that top of round 3. How we're playing it, as you see this turnover, we're having Republican Spain go after Japan and in between the U.S. So I'll make a new turn tracker with our two new turn trackers with the nationalists and the Republicans in this position. That's my plan right now. The Republicans have been progressively squashed from Spain. I had a good force built up at the beginning, but that battle, they attacked me and I defended terribly, and I progressively has lost my air force in Spain. Italy just lost their air force, but have started to rebuild it. They lost it in eastern Spain after the Americans attacked there. Americans also attacked Madrid, but that battle went terribly, figures. And Spain has Algeria, and they have Normandy, Bordeaux still. And how we're playing this is that if a country has its nation eliminated, if they're able to take any, if the remaining forces are able to take any territories, they get a resistance member. So France gets an additional unit every time they take a territory. If they capture a territory, they get one extra infantry to place wherever they want in any territory that they control. The Spaniards do the same thing. So he came in here, took Algeria. So I got to place another infantry up in Normandy up there. Northern Spain is wide open. Got a sizable American Air Force Air Force and Navy down here, but I don't have enough, not enough units on the way. So this isn't looking great. UK did a generally successful Middle Earth strategy, but I made one mistake and I didn't activate Persia right away. So I had to build my industrial complex in Iraq as opposed to Persia, which means I can't fly units up to Moscow in one turn if I have to. So next time, I'm always building it in Persia, and I'm always activating Persia round one. Really what threw that off was this J1 attack. So I had to take my transport that I start with in the UK over here, and I had to take Sumatra to nab that. How we're playing with the Dutch in presence over here, the out-of-box rule, just so you know, the out-of-box rule that the Allies get to nab those islands before Japan being at war is not historically accurate from what I've been able to look at online. So in order for them to activate those islands and add them to their currency and also get the Dutch defending troops on the islands, they have to be at war with Japan. And if they're not at war with Japan, or if there's just Dutch on the islands when the Japanese attack, the Dutch defend at a 1. But if there are allies on the islands with them, they defend at a 2 as usual. But yeah, so we start with 2 Dutch here, 2 Dutch here, 1 Dutch here, plus the airbase, 1 Dutch there. And then the 1 on the UK to represent the government in exile from Holland. Anyway, so yeah, let's back up to Germany. Germany's Eastern Front. A lot of shit going down in Bessarabia. Some UK units to help there, but that is not enough. I blundered an attack on the runaway Germans in the Urals, me being the Soviets, and lost quite a bit of infantry that I did not want to lose with only getting a few hits out there, so I had to retreat to Novosibirsk. Is that how you say it? Novosibirsk? My Russian's terrible. Anyway, yeah, I got a sizable amount of infantry in Smolensk and Moscow, but I would safely say I could only take on 1 of these right now. So things are looking grim over here. On top of that, since I'm now at war with Japan is pushing, and I'm expecting some chaos to happen over here. They don't have to deal with China. They just finally knocked out the Flying Tiger right here in Kansu. China started off holding the Burma Road for about the first 3 rounds, so I was able to build a sizable amount of artillery, but his Calcutta Crush has just been very lethal and menacing. He just recently built a factory in Kiangsu. Right away, he built a factory in French Indo China. Yeah, so he's got this over here. He's got a sizable navy down here in 36. He started doing a Calcutta Crush with the navy over here, but he has diverted it over to Australia. So he's fucking with me in Australia right now. But all of his transports right now are here, not next to a naval base. So we'll see what he plans to do with that. Over here, I took the Caroline Islands, and I made a critical mistake this was around round 3 or 4. I moved most of what Pacific Navy I had to Caroline Islands, took the Caroline Islands. I thought I was not within enough range, but I misjudged, and I was. So he attacked me overwhelmingly, and I got very few hits. Then whatever destroyers and subs he had left in Caroline Islands, I attacked with an Air Force and got no hits. And he got like 3 hits against me. So that sucked. I got some more Americans on the way, but the question is it enough? I'm still torn between both the Atlantic and Pacific. I probably have to go all in on one. Question is, which theater of war and when? Oh yeah, and the UK just took Greece with the French fighter fortifying. The UK also took northern Italy just to knock out the factory and gain 4 more IPCs with 1 infantry. He's already told me he's gonna attack my sea zone. That was a trap. So my 2 cruisers are not enough there. But yeah, it's a decent little air force in Malta. A lot of infantry, British infantry on northern Africa. I've just built a factory in Egypt as well. And I'll see. One very important thing. Because we're playtesting, we are not playing with technology. So nobody has any superpowers. We're just going purely non-technology superpowers this game. All right, so that about kind of summarizes the game. With what Anzac has done, Anzac right away at the beginning, they took Java and they took Dutch New Guinea, but they were not able to hold it. The Dutch didn't really help at all, other than in Sumatra. My die rolls were terrible. Japan also still has their 6 kamikazes. I got some mechs up in Alaska. Replacement Air Force on the way. Sizable Air Force here. Or not sizable, but decent. India is holding on. They got a sub that is a thorn in their side. But the units that are being able to be sent from Middle Earth are helping out quite a bit. I got about, I think that's 7. I got 7 damage on that factory, or the industrial complex. Yeah, Russia's hanging on, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not looking good. But who knows? Maybe I'll start rolling good whenever we resume this. So isn't that how it is sometimes? One day you roll terrible, and then another day your luck changes, which means we should have just stopped playing earlier, for my sake at least. Anyway, so yeah, that's an update on our game. That's kind of overview of how things are going. Leaning towards an Axis victory, but time will tell. I say we'll probably play another 3 rounds at least, just to kind of see how things pan out and all that. So we'll get there. We'll see. We'll get there. But until then, don't do what I did and roll the dice better.